25 to 1. That I can do. Oh, apparently I haven't parlayed with Jacob Bridgman. Let's play that. $10 pays 10,000. Yeah, there we go. Bet accepted.
You're entering the Mayo experience.
Mayo experience. Mayo experience. Mayo experience. Experience.
Welcome to the Pat Mayo Experience, presented by Underdog Worldwide. Prestige. Worldwide. Wide. Technologies. Championship. Picks. Bets. Research. Keith Stewart is joining me to go through the entire betting board, sectioning off our picks. We talk first round leader. He gets into some LPGA bets for the week. I made a parlay. That's 1,000 to 1. How could it lose? Who could know? You can always use the time codes to jump around. The write-ups will be available along with the cheat sheet in the newsletter on Wednesday. It'll be up on betspertsgolf.com as well. So smash the like, sub to the channel. Leave me your winner down in the description as well. But first, I'm going to head over to the rabbit hole and do some research, tell you a little bit about the course and the players that are popping for me right away. Let's get right to that. BetspertsGolf.com/Mayo. Get yourself a discount at the rabbit hole with all the DFS tools, the projections, the simulations. It's all there for you. And if you're a Fantasy National member, hopefully we'll have the sites merged by January and your subscription will just work right there. So don't worry about that. All right. And FantasyGolfChampionships.com. There's no Kapalua this year, so Sony Open, the first tournament of the year, will be the start of this year's race for the Mayo Cup. One and done. I think it's $1.25 million in the prize pool this year. Go get your spots right now. We got to fill that up, all right? Worldwide Technologies Championship. It is the third year at this course in Mexico, in Cabo. It's on the coast. There's giant fairways. I actually put it in my newsletter where you can figure it out. I'm obviously in the newsletter, says the full show with Keith Stewart will be up later on. And that is true because Keith is going to be joining me here in a second. But the El Cardenal de Monte, Cabo San Lucas, 7,452 yards of par 72. Platinum Paspalum greens. The average green size is 8,300 square feet. So they are giant three putts abound. If you're just getting it onto the fringe, nowhere near the hole. 48 bunkers, one hole with water in place. Top 65 and ties make the cut. Only 120 players in this field. Not a bad field either. And Austin Eckroat is your defending champion, minus 24 a year ago. EVR won in 2023 at minus 27. We'll take a look into both those players to see if we can find some sort of profile. The easiest hole on the course is number 1 with almost a, let's see here, 2.45% eagle rate, 30% birdie rate. Not bad. Not a lot of bogeys here. The most difficult hole on the course is number 4. You can see it almost an 8% bogey rate going forward there. So it's a pretty tough hole. Let's take a look at the course metrics because I think this is where it's hilarious. Almost 90% driving accuracy, 94% good driving. Everyone is hitting the fairway at this course. And Michael Kim was on with me not too long ago. He had made mention that, he could hit the ball backwards and he would still end up hitting the fairway. So driving, well, important is not going to be the most meaningful thing. Just take a look at some of these guys near the top of the leaderboard. So some good drivers, some bad drivers, mainly either really good with their irons or really good putters. So we know that Austin Eckroat, one of the better iron players going around, he wins by a shot over Justin Lauer, one of the better putters on tour. Carson Young, one of the better putters on tour. Grazerman, one of the better putters. Joe Highsmith, one of the better putters. Interesting here as well, Highsmith comes in 5th at this tournament. Obviously, he won the at PGA National, what's called the Cognizant, earlier this year. Austin Eckroat wins the Cognizant the year before that. I don't know what the link is there. Maybe it's just like hot putting and that's it. That's the only thing I can really stretch my, this course is so easy. PGA National is so hard. I'm not sure why it is. Maybe there's some similarity to how to putt on these greens. Is the only thing I can really think of, but I thought that was somewhat interesting. I like Nico Echeverria this week. He's in the field. Higo's going to be pretty pumped up. The odds are not released as of the time that I'm doing this, but I'm guessing that Nico is going to be like 40 to 1, whereas Higo is probably going to be like 20 to 1 because he's been so popular recently. But again, just more guys that putt well on Paspalum greens. I'm doing this so early that the field isn't loaded in yet. We don't have strokes gained from this course on like a shot by shot basis. So there's not much it can really tell us from here, but we can just glean from some of the different players that we see. So we see, the PGA National comp, not sure why, but a lot of those players, good putters, end up there. Also, we see, what is the other one? Sony would be the other one to look at too. Again, and a par 70 short course, but driving doesn't mean the world there either. Obviously, We saw Nico lose in the playoff there a year ago. Nick Taylor ends up winning. Nick Taylor's in the field this week, I believe, as well, as is JJ Spawn, who came in third at that tournament. Ryan Palmer, been good at the Sony Open and has been really good at PGA National. This is from 2023 right now when EVR won. Kuchar's won the Sony. We've seen Vijagas pop up and Justin Suh at PGA National. So very interesting PGA National for Mac Hughes as well. Carson Young has played here 2 years in a row. So I'm not quite sure what the thing is about those. Maybe someone can tell me. If you're in the comment section, let me know what the comp between this and PGA National would be. Maybe it's wind. And they both are coastal courses. Maybe it's as simple as that. Probably not. Let's take a look at Eckroat. Eckroat is last year's winner. We'll see how he ended up doing. And just you can see up here right now, like the rolling yearly summary of what he's been doing per round, last 8 through past 200 rounds. Where has he gotten better? And at this time last year, it'd probably be around those 50 rounds. So we'll take a look at the past 100, past 200 to see what he does well. Obviously, he's gotten a lot better on his approach play as we've gotten close. The ball striking has gotten a lot better as well. So is the putting. The around the green has gotten a lot better. Frankly, he's just been a much better player. Funny because his ball speed is down. Yeah, you think that, oh yeah, here's this great ball speed. We've seen a lot of players improve. Like Ben Griffin is the ultimate example. Someone else who's in the field this week has increased his ball speed, has increased his distance, and it's led to him becoming a better player. Eckroat's kind of gone the other way, where the results haven't necessarily materialized. He's won twice over the past 3 years or so, but his stats just on the whole look a whole lot better now. He's doing everything better at the moment. You can see that his driving distance it's funny because his driving distance went up a little bit from when his ball speed was a little bit higher. It's just funny how sometimes it works out like that. Anyway, we'll see how we did coming into last year, and we can take a look at what his results were entering the tournament. So he had played just one of the swing season tournaments, wasn't really good at all, and then ends up winning the Prestige Worldwide Technologies Championship. Had a good Wyndham, had a good FedEx St. Jude, top 20s in both those events coming in. So it's not like he had a fantastic trend line coming in. He does not quite have that entering this year. He was T11 at the Pro Tour, didn't play well over in Japan, but maybe he can go back to back. Probably not, though, from what we can see. After that, let's take a look at EVR and see what he has been up to. See, his ball speed's way higher. But overall, he's just been really, really bad, at least around the time when he ended up winning. He was putting somewhat better. His off the tee was worse than it is now, but his approach play has just been absolutely god-awful over the past 8, 16. He's been in the minus over the past 50 rounds, and the putting has gotten progressively worse as well. Let's see what he was up to when he ended up getting his win there. I think we just scrolled past it. There it is. So again, played the Shriners, played it all right, was okay at the Sanderson Farms. So it made the cut in all 3 of his tournaments with some great, was that strokes gained approach? Let's see, that's ball striking. So if we just put in Worldwide Technologies. And again, when you look at 2022, that was still at Mayakoba. So it's only 2023 and 2024 that we're looking at. So yeah, he was kind of crushing it at the moment coming into it, and we'll see strokes gained approach. We'll just go down there and just see what he had been up to before that. Funny to look at this as well. The year after he wins, he comes second at PGA National. Should probably do a scan and search. I don't have the entire field in front of me right now because it's not been released yet. I just have an inclination of who is going to play, but you can see strokes gained approach, positives in the short term. So that ended up working out really well for him. Everything was kind of clicking at the moment. The chipping wasn't bad, but when you're hitting so many greens of regulation, chipping, not the most important thing this week. And he finally kind of flipped the putter, but only a little bit. It's not like, he had flipped it a little bit before, gained 3 strokes in the tournament before, averaging, right around 4.5 strokes gained on approach, gained a ton at the Fortinet, but, stroke and a half off the tee in the previous 2 tournaments. That was good enough. And to put it all together and end up winning. Now I want to take a look at what's going on at the COG here, the Cognizant Classic. Maybe there's some guys that we can figure out. He's been top 10 there the past 2 years. What is going on at PGA National? I just want to take a look at the leaderboards from these years. So Highsmith was the winner, and Spawn, who is probably going to be the betting favorite, him or Ben Griffin this week. Bridgman's in the field, so maybe not a bad look. McGreevy, Ben Griffin, who I think is in the field as well. Michael Kim is not. Michael Kim, my guy, is over in Abu Dhabi, I believe, playing the first leg of the DP World Tour playoffs with I think he made enough of his stint in India to get himself almost guaranteed. And as long as he doesn't finish like horrible, he should be fine here. So how did these guys do it? What were they up to? Let's take a look at let's take a look at the total of the strokes gained and see what they did. A lot of it was just hot putting for everyone at the top of this tournament, even EVR. Let's see, what was EVR? Yeah, EVR's putting was all right. The only guy to lose strokes on approach was Spieth. Weird, but as across the board, good tee to green and spike putting that week ended up going really well for them. So who are some guys that we can probably attack? There's Grazerman, who is in the field this week as well. If he can just continue to, with some good strokes gained approach, that hasn't really been his thing, although he almost did jar it on the 72nd hole to tie Xander over in Japan. That's probably going to, as long as his odds are reasonable, like 20-1. I mean, I hope I'd get a 25 or a 28, but that might be wishful thinking. Other than that, you got Gim. Maybe Gim is a pretty good look this week, although dude never putts. Matty Schmidt. We could take a look at Paspalum putting as well. Really wish we had the field in front of us. That would be really nice. But alas, we don't, because I have to record this a bit early. We're going to be recording day of with Keith when we get to that a little bit later on. But just do the research in the quick look. That's what we're looking at. There's Rico Hoey. Man, Rico, minus 6.9 strokes putting. Good for you. Quality stuff there. So that's what happened in 2025, the year that Eckroat won. And obviously he's won at both these tournaments as well. EVR is up there, Skins. So again, not like huge hitters. And that's almost what we saw. I mean, we saw Minwoo and EVR, two of the bigger hitters. But after that, Skins, Eckroat. I mean, Knapp's a big hitter. So is Cam Young. But Lowry and Noren are not. Neither is Laird, neither is Horschel, neither is Malnati by any stretch, and then Keith Mitchell is. So you can do it many different ways at PGA National, but you need to have your putting dialed in. You need to have your approach play dialed in. You need to not hit it into the water. That's not as big of a problem, hitting it into the water, as we've seen. Kevin Yu, I feel like Kevin Yu's name popped up at El Cardinal as well. Where was Kevin Yu here? Was he in the EVR year? No. Was he in the Eckroat year, Kevin Yu? Well, maybe not. So maybe Kevin Yu has not been good at this tournament. It was just at PGA National. He was all right. Did Kevin Yu play? No, he didn't play. That's probably why he wasn't very good. Maybe he played the year before, because he'd be an interesting test case for some of this, because dude can't putt most of the time. Kevin Yu missed the cut the year before that. But if he's in the field this week, maybe not a bad look, as long as you get reasonable odds on him. But again, it's they're trying to squeeze you during the swing season, from what I've kind of gleaned. Gim was top 20 here. Higo was top 20 at the Cognizant as well. Higo's actually had some decent run at the Cognizant over the years. So yeah, just other guys are continue to pop up. We can try to scan the field to take a look at it. We just click back over to the rabbit hole. Oh, there we go. Worldwide Technologies. It's loaded in. Look at that. Let's just take a look at past 5 years at the Cognizant Classic. Actually, let's just do past 3 years. That's probably the easier way to do this. Past 3 years, because there was a few changes to PGA National. We don't have the pricing or anything out yet, or any odds, so we'll just hide salary button to make it easier for us to look at. Just so nice just to be able to click on this stuff and have it work. It's fantastic news. All courses will go to, where are we at here? PGA now. Let's put in PGA National Champion course. Blip. Apply. And see who we got going. Average strokes gained. We'll take a look at tee to green and then per round. Rico Hoey in 8 rounds. Kevin Yu, Steven Yeager, another guy who played really well at the Cognizant Classic. He was a very popular bet in Utah a few weeks back. Let's see here. How did he end up doing? I feel like he missed the cut. No, he was T11. Never mind. Good on approach, terrible off the tee. Not too worried about off the tee. I mean, if you're missing fairways at this course, you're absolutely cooked. You can see the off the tee has been so bad. Hopefully, he can do that a little bit better. The strokes gained around the green, good. Putting, good coming into play. Approach trending upwards in both swing season events. Okay. Good news right now on Steven Yeager. He's not quite at the level that he was, at the beginning of the year, or even in times last year when we really did like it. You can see a lot of green on the board at the very beginning of the year. The T3 at the Sony, second in Utah. It's been a lot of red, but that's starting to come around a little bit. Like at points, we take a look at total here. He lost 7 strokes ball striking at the Open Championship. Maybe that's just not his class of player. He's better off in a field like this. Now, he got pummeled at the Sanderson Farms because he lost 6 strokes off the tee over 4 rounds, but did gain 2.6 on approach, 1.5 a week ago. Great around the greens at that course on the shaved surfaces. That's actually a feature that we have on the rabbit hole. If you go to that, if you just go to, I'm not going to go to it here because we're not going to have the stats from it, but a lot of shaved off shot types around the green you can look at. So you can see scrambling from the rough, you can see scrambling from the short grass, around the green shots, the percentage over the time that we're looking at, and then the around the green shots from the sand, if that's how you want to parse it out. So when you get to a place like this, you're not going to be scrambling from the rough very often. These are all mowed off, shaved areas that you're going to be wanting to see who scrambles well out of the short grass. I mean, we take a look at that. Who is the best scrambler out of the short grass? Now, putting is factored into this because it's a scrambling number, but you can just see who's been very good at it. What do we have here? This is at PGA National, so I mean total around the green shot 7. I still have the filter on for PGA National. We can go back and take a look at this in a second then, just to see who it is. But strokes gained, total, and then average per round, strokes gained. Let's just see total for PGA National. Let's see if there's anyone that kind of pops up. Spawn, Kevin Yu, only 4 rounds each. There's Bridgman again. I like Bridgman and Gim this week. Both good looks here. Both in 8 rounds. Both been very good. Victor Perez as well. How has Perez been playing? Let's take a look at old Vic Perez. Big dick Vic Perez. The Frenchman. He's going to be smoking. He's 6'5". Good God. He lives in the Bahamas. Good for him as a tax shelter. He doesn't want to live in Leon or Nice anymore. Terrible driver of the ball in Utah. Was 11th at the Sanderson Farm. So he kind of fits the profile of, been good on approach, had a pretty good Sanderson Farms. It's not been bad for him so far. So maybe Victor Perez, after seeing that, he had an adequate run in his 8. I mean, it's been 8 rounds for him over the past 3 years at the Cognizant. He's been pretty good. I'm going to run that name by Keith to see if he's going to be on him too. Try to figure it out. I actually like Thunder Bear this week as well. I think that he's in the field. Let's see. Thorbjorn Olesen. He's been playing pretty decent golf. Thorbjorn. Oh, there's Thorbjornsen. Thomas Rosenmuller. Dude can't putt. That's a real tough scene. Thorbjorn has been, he's been bad in his 4 rounds. He was not good at the Cognizant Classic. But that doesn't mean, that's not the end all be all this week. It just seems like it would be helpful. But yeah, 2 starts so far in the swing season has been good in both, top 15s in both, including a T3 at the Banky, Utah. Actually putted really well. What are his putting stats? Let's see here. Putting stats over... strokes gained. He's a positive putter. He's positive across the board. Tee to green. You just need that spike putting week to come from him. And yeah, just the through line over the past 50 rounds has been getting better. 0.5 strokes gained putting per round. Not bad. Almost a stroke on approach, half a stroke. He's trending exactly in the direction that you want to see. Good win player as well. Just most of the European players have been really good win players over the years. So that's something to look at here. Let's see. Yeah, total Spawn. Spawn, Yu, Bridgman, Gim, and Putnam, although he only has the 4 rounds. Ben Griffin's been good over his 10 rounds. So was Clanton, Keith Mitchell, obviously. Even in the past 2 years, Keith Mitchell's been really good. Can't remember if this was the big gag. It was Sanderson Farms that was the big gag from Keith Mitchell a year ago when he should have won that tournament and then didn't. Then his game went absolutely in the tank, but was T10 at the Bay current. Okay, maybe he's trending back a little bit in the right direction because this would, in theory, be a really good course for him. Hasn't really shown. Last year he was just a mental midget, basically, is what happened to him after he gagged away the Sanderson Farm. So nothing he did the rest of the swing season I would really put that much relevancy into, just knowing the context of what happens. And he was T38 for that. Okay, nothing doing great there. For just looking at this, you can see Grazerman still over a stroke per round, Hossler stroke per round, Eckroat stroke per round. There's Jaeger as well. Nicholas Norgard, too, in only 4 rounds. See, the putting was really bad for Jaeger in his 6 rounds. That's okay. We're not too concerned about that. There's Joe Highsmith, obviously with his win. He would be up there. Vince Whaley. We saw Vince Whaley was, I believe, 2nd place a year ago. It was him or Justin Lauer. I get those 2 guys absolutely confused all the time. So, okay. So what we're looking for right now, we got Bridgman, decent play. Perez, decent play. Obviously, I told you I like Grazerman already as well. Thunder Bear, I could probably get behind just as a guy who's trending in the proper direction. Let's get rid of PGA National. And we're just going to look at the last month, actually last 2 months of play, just to pick up some of those other scraggler tournaments. Strokes gained total, who's been the best? Well, Michael Brennan has been the best. I think Johnny Kiefer's in the field as well this week, making his first start after winning on the Korn Ferry Tour. But Brennan, Griffin, Spawn, there's Higo, there's Pierce and Cody. Rico Hoey, Fisk already has a win. Mac Hughes, interesting guy this week. We know he can turn it up on the putting. I have no idea where his game's at. If he's playing in this tournament, I assume that his game has not been very good over the past little bit here. Let's see. How you been, Mac Hughes? Cut at the Sanderson Farms. Was T7 at the Pro Tour only through chipping and putting. Has he been in the Worldwide Technologies? I believe that he has. I think he had a top 10 here when we were just looking at it, but let's take a look. Yeah, he was T7 2 years ago at this course. So it's kind of interesting. He will probably be overvalued by being one of the better names here. Let's see, Kuchar's been playing well. Sneds has been playing well. Sneds actually been playing really well. What's going on with Brandt Snedeker here? There's Thorbjorn Olesen. He only has the 10 rounds, but 1.5 gained per. Let's take a look at Snedeker. We saw Kuchar pop up here a year ago. If Snedeker is actually playing decent golf, he's played 2. He came stroke per round at the Utah. I mean, if he does this, like he is a legitimate chance. Top 20s and 3 starts at a course that's probably not going to demand that you drive the ball amazingly. That I can get behind. That sounds good to me. What's Brandt Snedeker's going to be 300 to 1 this week. So there's probably a bet for me. You got Jaeger, Siwoo's in the field. Grazerman, Nico is up there. And Nico is another player that I do like this week. So the only other thing that I wanted to look at, let's take a look at the past 18 months and take a look at that chipping stat on the shaved surfaces. The shaved surface down in Mexico. Get that tan line going, babe. We'll be good. Around the green. So now we got 1,000 shots. So this is a bit better of a sample here. Let's see, total around the green shots from the short grass, 42% for some of these guys. Let's see who the best guys are. It's Michael Brennan, because he's played approximately 1 tournament where you only had the shaved surfaces. Did really well getting it up and down. So Spawn, Kazire, David Ford, Patrick Rogers. I mean, Patrick Rogers would be like 20 to 1 this week because just they can't help themselves. Oh, Thorbjorn Olesen looking even better here. Nick Taylor. Oh, Nick Taylor's in the field? If you can get Nick Taylor 35 to 1 or beyond, just bet Nick Taylor. That's always a good bet when he plays against these goober fields. Norlander, Lonto, Putnam, Vela. That's a lot of Putnam that we've been seeing. We'll probably take a look into him here in a second. Matty Schmidt, Wyndham Clark is playing. Good Lord. Aaron Wise, Will Gordon, Chan Kim, Chairman Mao. There's Rico Hoey, good around the greens. There's Jacob Bridgman again. So a lot of Bridgman numbers coming up. Keith Mitchell, Kevin Yu, a lot of Kevin Yu. Victor Perez is up there as well. Matt Kuchar. So interesting to take a look at that. Let's take a quick gander at our main man, Andrew Putnam, to see how he's been doing. Cut, 65th, cut. So yeah, not great for Andrew Putnam. He's chipping it well, but apparently that means he's not hitting any greens in regulation. BetSportsGolf.com/Mayo to get yourself in on the rabbit hole. Right after the break, we'll be coming back with the odds, the picks, the bets, the one and only Keith Stewart. You know how much time I spend researching bets and lineups and shows and getting everything ready for you? So when it's actually time to sleep, I need it to count. That's why I switched to a Helix mattress, and honestly, game changer. I have Helix mattresses all over my house. My wife and I have one. The guest room has one. My kids have one. I got a kid on the way, and eventually they're going to have one too. Even Jared over at the studio living there, I got him a Helix mattress as well. Populated with Helix. You need to do it too. I used to wake up with a stiff back and night sweats. Now I just sleep through the night. No tossing around, no overheating. It's just comfortable and supportive. I took their quiz. I tailored it to myself, and boom, I got exactly what I needed from the mattress I deserve. I think you deserve a nice one too. So go to helixsleep.com/Mayo for 27% off and exclusive to Pat Mayo Experience listeners. That's helixsleep.com/Mayo for 27% off. Make sure to enter my show name after checkout so they know I sent you. helixsleep.com/Mayo. You know that moment before the night out when you're excited but also thinking, tomorrow might be rough. Yeah, I've been there. Sure have. And that's why I've started using pre-alcohol from ZBiotics. Total game changer. ZBiotics pre-alcohol probiotic drink is the world's first genetically engineered probiotic, built by PhD scientists to tackle those tough mornings after drinking. Here's how it works. When you drink, alcohol creates an unwanted byproduct in your gut, and that's what makes it hard the next day. Pre-alcohol is designed to break down that byproduct. Now, I drink pre-alcohol as my first drink of the night, and the next morning, good to go. So if you want to enjoy every day, head to zbiotics.com/PatMayo and use code PATMayo for 15% off your first order. And it's backed by a 100% money-back guarantee. So there's no risk, only better mornings. As promised, Keith Stewart from readtheline.com is on the line. Keith, there are 3 tournaments remaining in the PGA Tour swing season schedule. And I know that you go to the majority of events throughout the season. Let me know, are you going to Cabo, or are you going to Bermuda, or are you going to Sea Island, Georgia? Which one are you going to?
Well, you know what? Geez, oh flip. I mean, Cabo would be really nice. I don't know about Bermuda this time of year, but I am going to go to Sea Island. So I'm going to go down to the RSM Classic, but no Cabo this week, which is disappointing to myself and probably more so to like my better half.
Yeah, I would think so. I think if it was me, I would pick Cabo. I didn't play this course when I went. I actually walked it to check it out. It is the most resorty course of all resort courses I think I've ever seen.
Yeah. There's no doubt about that. I mean, what a picturesque setting. I mean, actually, 2 weeks ago in Utah was pretty good too, just the contrast between desert and ocean. But you know, it I guess the design feature of it is really what makes it so resorty, if we're going to use that as a word today. What, 100 acres of fairway with which to tee off? Let's have at it.
60 yards is the average width of the fairways here. I feel like I mean, the pros hit it at, I believe it's 90 or 89.9%. That's what the research showed up over the 2 years that's been played at this course. It's really funny that it's a Tiger Woods design as well. When they were selling it and trying to sell rounds to it, I actually walked down to like the marina in Cabo, and inside the mall there, I was like, hey, let's check out the mall, see what's going on. And they were selling passes to the course with just a big cardboard cutout of Tiger Woods.
I believe it. You bring up a good point. As we get into this to talk about the course a little bit, like when Tiger was playing, the 3 things he would complain about the most was like he wanted it to be difficult, right? He wanted the greens to be fair, and he wanted it to be a long iron test. And this course is none of the 3, right? Like you have these wild, wacky green surfaces with all sorts of swales and shelves and everything. Then, of course, you've got these wide open fairways, and it's a wedge fest. So I guess it was early on in Tiger, 2014, one of his first courses. He's probably learning.
I don't, well, at the same time, like just knowing where it's at and who is actually going to play this course out of the 4 days that the PGA plays it, like, I don't think you want to set up a super difficult track in Cabo.
No, not at all. Yeah, if you and I are getting timeshares down there, I don't want to go down there and play Muirfield Village or Oakmont or something like that. I love the idea of the 60-yard fairway, a Bluetooth speaker, and a full cooler.
That's exactly it. Like, I don't want to stumble up off the beach like, hey, let's go play 18 holes and like get my ass kicked for 5 hours.
Yeah, give me 100 plus bunkers, all sorts of cart path only. Yeah, no, none of that. Let me cruise out there with my Bluetooth speaker and I'm good to go.
So throughout doing the research, something very interesting popped up to me, and I have no explanation for it other than maybe it's just the similar state of both of these fields. But guys that have performed very well and even won at this tournament in the 2 years that it's been in Cabo, it's been EVR and it has been Austin Eckroat. And those are guys that absolutely pipe PGA National. Then I was like, that's really strange. Like, these courses have nothing in common whatsoever. Maybe they do and I'm just missing it. But even when you start like patrolling the leaderboard of both of the years here, it's all guys that do well at PGA National. It's really strange.
I was thinking the same exact thing because when you start to think about Austin Eckroat, I think about a guy, I used the word pipe a minute ago. Like, he just pipes it right down the middle. He is one of the elite drivers. And in last year, he wins twice. And I said to myself, okay, where was he ranking as far as, driving statistics that year for accuracy, for strokes gained off the tee? And he's up there and he's in the top 30 for all of them. And I'm like, man, everyone made a big deal about the fact that there's like 60-yard wide fairways. Like, maybe it's a trick that like really good drivers here, they hit the right side of or the correct side of the fairway. And then they had a better angle into some of these like kind of like, crazy green complexes. But as it turns out, EVR is not the straightest guy in the world, especially not back in 2023. So then I was like, all right, so that theory is kind of out the window. I think what it really comes down to is that if you're a guy that can minimize your mistakes and hit really good iron shots with your wedges and then putt kind of grainy-ish greens, because remember, we're on Paspalum this week, which would be a lot like, grainy Bermuda down there in South Florida. I think that's more of the key that's coming into play, because I think one of the biggest features we're going to figure out this week is that it's scoring potential. And if you're making bogeys at any point, then you're really, taking a back seat to the leaders, and it's going to be tougher to contend. So I think it has more to do with that, Pat, like the ability for those guys to kind of point and shoot and keep the ball in play, versus so much of being like just long, because bombers don't necessarily, I know Jake Knapp this year and everything, but like bombers don't necessarily take over PGA National. And I think really what comes down to is like how much of an emphasis there is on just pure PGA Tour scoring. And I think that's why there's a correlation between the two.
Yeah, maybe it does just come down to the putting. That could be just an essential part of this. I'm just looking at past Palom putting over the past 3 years. Like it's like Potgieter, Rahm. But guys that would be playing in this tournament, like Ben Silverman does really well. Who else? Eric Cole does really well. I don't even think he's in the field this week. Damon is another one. Like I'm just trying to wrap my mind around how to actually parse this out and where to go. Like we can get to the odds board right now and just try to figure out who we want to bet. Coolbet.com if you're in Canada, outside of Ontario. Those are the odds that we're using for this show. It's Ben Griffin, JJ Spawn, 1 and 2 on the board, 11 and 12. Grazerman is 18. I've seen him as low as 22. That's the best number I've seen, is 22 to 1. He was the name that kind of popped out to me instantly. He played well here last year. The last time that we saw him, he almost jarred it on the 72nd hole to tie Xander to force a playoff in Japan. Should we just be betting Max Grazerman? Because that was like the first thought that I had this week.
Well, you know what? He's going to benefit off the tee. He's got plenty of speed. He's going to have a wedge in his hand, and he's a very good putter. Last fall, he basically led all the putting statistics. And I'm with you. I think this thing purely comes down to a putting contest. How do you not three putt? How do you put it on the right shelf? So then the secondary stat I'm looking at is, of course, approach play. Does Max have enough recent success with his iron play in order to score enough times, right? Like the last 2 top 10s, you had to average like 18 under to be inside the top 10 at this event. I mean, you really have to just rack in birdie after birdie after birdie. Can Mad Max do that? I mean, we'll all complain about the number, but at the top of the board there, based upon the fact that he has played a little bit, he definitely is somebody that catches my eye. What's most interesting, and I'm sure you'll get to this in a second, was that like Rico Hoey is actually somewhat learning how to putt.
Yeah, like somewhat is a stretch.
Somewhat learning how to putt. I'm not going to bet him, but like at the top of the board, those are kind of the names that catch my attention. But for me, the number one guy that's under, let's say, just under 30, depending on where you're looking in the States or up with you, whatever. But for me, it's Garrick Higo for sure.
Really? So Higo, he has the win at one of these past Palm events already, I believe so. Or maybe it was just a weird alt event. He won the Canary Islands twice as well, has played well here. I was looking at that too. The thing that I found interesting is like you have Griffin and Spawn, the Ryder Cup guys at the top of the board. They both hit irons well. They both putt well. They could easily win this, but I don't think this is the kind of event where you just take like one of these overwhelming favorites because it does seem a lot open to the rest of the field. But Thorbjornsen and Hoey have lower odds than Grazerman and Higo, which I just thought was super interesting.
Yes. Oh man. 2 guys that have not won, 2 guys that have tremendous potential, 2 guys that, man, I don't know. I just don't see it. Higo's playing so well. And Higo is just one of those guys that can go nuclear. I just think you have to be able to do the EVR route. You have to be able to, shoot 30 subpar scores. You got to mess in some eagles in there. I just think that the wedge play, like, I feel better about Matt Kuchar than I do about Michael Thorbjornsen, which sounds kind of crazy to say, but like, this is that like stereotypical, like all of us want to go for these flashy names, but at the end of the day, you look at those past leaderboards and you've got guys on there like Cooch, like Justin Lauer, like these guys that just make birdie after birdie after birdie after birdie. And then there's not a lot of penalty on this golf course. So when they usually make bogeys and they fall back in the field at a tougher golf course, that just doesn't happen. So I don't know. I just don't feel like Thorbjornsen's as good of a wedge player as he needs to be. Yeah, the guy will bomb it out there. He'll never miss a fairway. He might Austin Cook the place and hit all 54 of them. Fantastic, right? But like, can he score to the level that he needs to score? And if you think back to 2021, when Higo won 2 out of 3 over there in the Canary Islands, I mean, he went absolutely ballistic for a couple of days. Then a month later, he came over and he won the Palmetto here on the PGA Tour. When he's playing like that, he could definitely shoot those kinds of scores, and those are the guys I'd be targeting this week.
Yeah, the other one to take a look at, someone like David Lipsky, I think could pop here. Just the Sony Open was another one where a lot of the similar names, again, not a subfield, but a weaker field event. Like you're not getting the big names that end up showing up because he doesn't really drive it all that well, but crushes his wedges, makes a ton of putts. Like the John Deere is probably another spot to look at for some of these guys. It's funny that you mentioned Higo. It was Grazerman, Thorbjornsen, not Thorbjorn Olesen at like 28 to 1. And then like Higo were kind of my looks under 30 to 1. But I'm not going to bet all three of them. I just kind of want to be there for Grazerman's win because I think I've bet on him, X amount of times. And he's come in second place 5 of those times.
I mean, New Jersey kid, saw him, win the state open when he was still, in college. I mean, unbelievable. It'd be a fantastic story. Both of his brothers are great players. One goes to Stanford, one goes to Princeton. The one at Princeton just won that event, the college event over there at the old course at St. Andrews. Man, just a tremendous New Jersey golf family that just won a ton of stuff. So I would be really excited to be on Grazerman. I haven't bet him since the Rocket when we lost in a playoff, and I had him and Kirk and Poltergeist took it down. But geez, oh flip. I mean, Grazerman has the putter to do it, and you really need the putter here. And it's not going to bother him to putt Paspalum versus Bermuda versus Bent. The guy's just a really good putter. And in my card is going to be all guys that can really, really putt.
So you're saying
I could be talked into Grazerman.
Okay, so we'll shorten it to Grazerman, Higo, and I'm going to throw Thorbjorn Olesen onto that just because I think that just overall T degree has been one of the best players over like the past 3 months.
Yeah, I just like in my head, I feel like Cam Stewart's yelling Thunder Bear like as loud as he can every time you say that. But yeah, I wouldn't go with Olesen. I'm going to go a little further down the board. I'm going to look for some better putters and some better approach players. But the combination of those two, I mean, I'm really just going to lean on that. I want guys in that 150 to 200 yard range that are just going to hit a million greens. You always talk about opportunities gained. Like how many guys are going to hit enough, are going to give them enough birdie chances to close out with the putter and shoot 30 subpar scores. I mean, that's really what it comes down to. I mean, one of the features that I look for on this golf course is, and I talked about this a little bit earlier, is the birdie to bogey ratio. Who could shoot 4 rounds in the 60s? Now, people are going to say, oh, Keith, all these guys can do that. JJ Spawn could do that, whatever. But like, who could do that? Who could put that together? Right? Because not as many guys do it as you think, even at a birdie fest. You can't shoot 70 and then pull this thing out because you're not going to get to 20, 21 under. So I really want to target those guys. And if it's a guy that normally maybe makes a couple bogeys or his scoring average is a little higher when we go to harder golf courses, I'm not so worried about that. If the approach game, the putter, and they shoot a ton of rounds in the 60s, I love those guys this week.
Okay, so let's kind of twist that a little bit. This next level has a few of those guys in it. Like they bomb it, they putt. They're iffy on their irons, but it's not that difficult of a course. Maybe they can just give themselves opportunity. Got like Wyndham Clark, my guy Pearson Cooney, Nick Taylor, Nico Echeverria, Jacob Bridgman. It's funny because I think initially you would just lean towards Wyndham Clark and Pearson Cooney, guys that bomb it, guys that are really good putters. But then I just take a look at that, like that next little tier. Nico, Nick Taylor, and Bridgman gotta all be live here. Like Nick Taylor at 35 to 1 in this sort of field is like the ultimate time to bet Nick Taylor.
I mean, I think it's the ultimate time to go after Jacob in the Bridge to Cabo. I mean,
Okay.
honestly, because if you start to really dig in and if you dive in too much and you go too far inside baseball, sorry, maybe that's too soon for you. But if you go in there, right, Jacob Bridgman over the last, couple of weeks, the last couple tournaments that he's played in, his mid-iron play and his scoring iron play is some of the best on tour. And we already know he's a good putter. Now, if you had to be good at Cognizant, then you probably had to be good at a place like Valspar in order to play good here because what? You're managing your golf ball all the time. You're hitting very good 150-yard, 160-yard approach shots to tight targets. Yeah, these greens are 8,300 square feet, but like I said earlier, they have all these different shelves and swales and everything. You have to hit you have to get nice proximity to the hole. You have to create those opportunities. Bridgman can do that with his iron game, and he can convert with the putter. So in that middle range at like around 40 to 1, maybe that number creeps up a little bit. Even if it goes down a little bit, I feel like he's the guy with the putter that can really do it. Can Nick Taylor do it with the ball striking? 1,000%. But we really have to hope that Nick Taylor's putter pops. I don't have to hope for that when it comes to Jacob Bridgman.
No, but with Nick Taylor, we've seen the elite putting performances from him as well. Like and he's won at sort of the courses that you would want him to win at for here. I mean, there's no reason to say like, hey, maybe I'll just bet Grazerman and both these guys. Nico, I thought was really interesting too, because dude dominates easy courses. He dominates Paspalum, and he's a sick wedge player.
Nico for sure. He has the history here. He has the history in the fall of being able to win. Nico 100%. I can't argue against that. He's probably a great DFS play. He might get lost in the mix because, again, because he's a foreign player, maybe he's not, he doesn't get as much of the limelight as some of the American players do. We always have this domestic bias down here. I mean, I, I do like Nico.
Then it starts getting a little bit interesting. What can you tell me about Johnny Kiefer, who is 30 to 1, 35 in some spots? I know that he's the first name I looked for when I opened it. It's almost like the Thorbjornsen thing or Jackson Koiven or Luke Clanton for a bit, where it's like, all right, like these guys are gonna win soon. Kiefer strikes me, especially after Michael Brennan won in Utah, like maybe he just wins the moment he starts playing.
Every trend would lead you down the road to say, like, that's what Kiefer's going to do. But how many of these guys are going to do a McCarty or a Brennan? I mean, is this just going to continue to happen? And you could say, sure, that's fine. But I mean, look at what Brennan had done leading up to it. And I don't care that it's PGA Tour Americas. The guy was shooting scores and he was very, very consistent. And, someone could play devil's advocate with me and they'd say, well, like, you know what, Keith, those courses are easy. The Corn Ferry Tour courses are easy. Look at this, where these guys are dominating. They're going to feel good about going to another easy course and doing the same exact thing. It'd be hard for me to argue against Kiefer other than the fact that he just he hasn't done it at this level, but I mean, the statistics, when they start comparing him and his scoring average and everything, it is really impressive. Every time somebody takes a step up, you can see that they're actually thinking about it when they get out there. Can he walk through that? I mean, Brennan was, it was unbelievable. It was really good. And it's a sign of the times to come because the guy he's pulling out driver, 192-mile ball speed, and not a care in the world, and can Kiefer be that guy? I'm going to wait and see. And I would have waited. I would have waited on Brennan. I would have waited on McCarty. That's just the way I kind of am. And I would go with more proven scorers. If I had a choice between Cootie or Bridgman and Kiefer, even though Kiefer is the shinier toy, I would probably go the other route.
Yeah, I'm not going to be in on Matt Kuchar. I have a random old dude who I've already bet. I mean, I can just tell you right now, I bet on Brandt Snedeker to win.
Oh, he has the putter to do it.
He's been top 20 in 2 of his past 3 starts. Like the iron play is coming around. And if he just putts like he normally does and has because I don't think driving matters at all. Like he can drive it as shittily as he wants and it's going to be fine. He's going to be in the fairway. So just go take some dead aim and make some putts, Brandt.
All right, I'm going to tease Kuchar a little bit. The reason that Kuchar's not going to pop on anyone's data models is because off the tee, he doesn't hit it anywhere. So he really suffers strokes gained off the tee. Well, if that's not such of a factor here, and the guy's top 10 in this field in approach play in recent rounds and with the putter, and that's the model I'm looking for. That's the player that I'm looking for. The guy's great with a wedge, and he's proven that he can score in these events, and he has a reputation in Mexico. Good, bad, or indifferent. He's won down there before. So, I think when a lot of guys have that resort mentality and they go down there, I think the guy likes cash. And I think if he could find his way into the mix, that he's just going to keep scoring and he just doesn't care. Like Matt's that kind of guy. And I'm not like a huge like Kuchar ATM all these years. I've won a ton of money on Kuchar, so I have to keep betting him thing. It's not like an illness for me, but like he's played well recently and he's been really good with his irons and really good with his putter as he usually is. So I'm interested.
I see. There's guys in a similar vein because he's a 50 to 1, 55 to 1, 60 to 1 to wherever you look. There's guys behind him on the board who I feel like do exactly the same thing, but are currently better players. For example, like Mac Hughes is at 65 or 70 to 1. Yeah. Steven Jager's at 80 to 1 in this tournament. Maybe his putter doesn't show up, but he's like a 50-50 guy with his putter, and his terrible driving shouldn't be that big of an issue here. That elite irons, he chips really well off the shaved surfaces, and I think he putts well on these slower greens. At seeing him at 80 to 1, I just thought was a huge number for him.
He has not been great ball striking recently. Now, off the tee, I'm not as concerned about that here. But with his iron play, I think he has to keep up. And that's kind of the thing. Like, I think Mac Hughes can top 10. In fact, he's already done it. He could top 10 here with just his putter and his short game. But when it comes down to it, like getting through to the finish line, he has to really spike on approach. And I think it's a little easier for some of these guys that, like you said, are 50-50 guys with the putter, but they're really good ball strikers. I'm going to lean in that direction. That's going to be my tendency this week.
Of note on Jager, the approach play has been great in the swing season so far. He gained 2.6 at the Sanderson Farms, 1.6 at Utah. Like, that's not enough to win, but at least that's the positive sign after he lost for like 3 months in a row.
The trend is your friend there. I mean, it's a good golf course fit for him because that guy loves to get up and just like, open up the shirt buttons and then just swing for the fences. So by all means, it's a good fit for him. You talk about Waialae, he's played good there. You talk about a guy that can get it around on a difficult ball striking golf course when he was hitting the driver better. Jaeger's not for me, but a Jaeger bomb this week, I could see it.
It's more so the odds. Like, I was just very surprised that he came in at 80-1. Like, he was a popular bet in Utah 2 weeks ago. What did he come? 11th? Like, he wasn't bad, and that's with him driving it into the lava every third drive.
He was good the year before in Utah. So something about there, I don't know if it's the Mormons or the Church of Zion or whatever, but it definitely catches his attention. I mean, there's a bunch of guys down here. I mean, one for me who's just absolutely horrific with the driver, and maybe this is my trend this week because Kuchar, doesn't hit it anywhere either. But Eric Cole is an extremely good wedge player. He is great, obviously, at the Cognizant. He is great on these kind of fuzzy putting surfaces. He's a great putter. He was a big disappointment over there at the Bay Current, but the travel to Japan, I don't put a lot of stock in that. Either it's your week or it's not. And I mean, Cole is one of those guys at some point I feel like has to win one of these regular PGA Tour season events.
The putter has been back for him, which is really encouraging to see. Like, he was pretty bad at the Pro Core everywhere but on the greens. He gained almost 6 strokes putting. He gained over 5 at the Sanderson Farms and gained almost 5 on approach. Like, even if he loses the 1.2 off the tee, I'll take his 5-5 approach and putting. That should be good enough here. He's sort of like he's like fancy Carson Young now.
Fancy Carson Young. Oh man, like a bougie Carson Young, or just regular fancy?
He's just kind of fancy. He's like a fancier version. Like, they're the same odds this week. Now, I know that Carson Young has the good history here. I think he has back-to-back top 15 finishes in the 2 years it's been at this course, and has really played the Caribbean courses really well. He's very good at putting on past Palom greens. He's very good at putting anyway. This just seems to enhance what he does. But I just think that Eric Cole is sort of the better version of Carson Young.
No doubt, although Carson Young, to your point, he has a 9th the year EVR won, and he has a 2nd last year. So something's going on there. Is Carson Young trending? I don't know. For me, Cole, he just kind of fits this really good with his iron play right now. And, when I tend to look at the data analysis part, I don't know if I've ever explained this to you, Pat, but I go very short term. I'm looking for guys like, yes, I will look out over 36 rounds or 40 rounds or something like that just to kind of get a baseline. But then I like to take it really, really tight. And I'm like, who is really trending? Who is popping? And it's easy to look at leaderboards and kind of see that. But when we're looking at some of, when we're diving down into some of the minutia and you're like, who's really good with their scoring irons right now? And who's really good with their putter? I like to get it really, really tight, like in that 16 to 18 round range. And then, like, some of these guys have just been really, really good that I'm mentioning. And I feel like if they were ever going to do it and win, like a Jacob Bridgman, like, man, like now would be the time to do it because he's hot. Another guy, Justin Lauer, right? Like, this has always been his time of the year. He's a guy we always bet on at Bermuda. Bermuda's next week. He is really, really good in birdie fests. He showed up last week in Utah because it was one of those there. I mean, I think this week, further down the board, you're going to get triple digits on him. Could be even high triple digits with some books. I think Justin Lauer is a guy that we should pay attention to.
So Justin Lauer this week is 100-1.
Okay.
I like him next week in Bermuda a little bit more because I feel like that just because you have better players in this field is why I would say that. That in Bermuda, we're just going to get nobody there, and driving means even less in Bermuda. It's strictly wedges and don't miss 2-foot putts, which Justin Lauer did do. After I went back and watched last year's tournament, he 3-putted from 2 feet. That was his tournament.
Yeah, I mean, you bring up a good point about strength of field. I mean, there's no doubt about it. As much as we've seen Justin Lauer, we know who he is. We really don't even know. You bring up Kiefer again. You bring up Brennan. I mean, these guys could be the next type of tour stars, right? These could be the next, like, Cam Youngs. These guys could be like really, really good and just start to really top 5, top 10 all the time. And they're probably not going to Bermuda. If they do, great. But like, this field does have some of those players, which is very interesting. And certainly, I mean, Bermuda ends up being the weakest field of the fall by far. And then Sea Island is good because if you're not in the top 100, you got to play.
Somewhat surprisingly, I actually take tailgating very seriously. Grill fired up, cooler packed, and yeah, I'm the guy everyone counts on for the food. Whether that's my home barbecues, birthdays, tailgating, doesn't matter what it is, Pat Mayo is always relied upon for bringing the food. That's why I go with Omaha Steaks, the official sponsor of tailgating. They've been America's original butcher for over a century, and everything they send is top-notch, perfectly aged steaks, juicy burgers, those thick, deli-style franks, all delivered directly to your door. I tossed the ribeyes on the grill last weekend. Crazy tender, amazing flavor, and you can taste the quality. There's no off-season for flavor here. Make your next game day delicious with Omaha Steaks. Just head to omahasteaks.com and use promo code MAYO at checkout for $35 off your order. That's omahasteaks.com. Promo code MAYO. Terms apply. See site for details. For over a century, Johnnie Walker has shared its bold spirit with the game of golf. Now, crafted with Devereux Golf, Johnnie Walker introduces the Johnnie Walker Blue Label-inspired Sunday Golf Bag, elevating the game with sleek design, blue label hues, and refined gold accents. Celebrate your hole-in-one with a premium Sunday bag crafted by Devereux Golf. Submit proof of your achievement to johnniewalker.com/blue-in-1. Please drink responsibly. This show is sponsored by BetterHelp. The days are getting shorter and it's easy to feel like the world's getting a little darker, too. This time of year can be tough, especially when life gets busy. So BetterHelp is encouraging everyone to reach out, check in on your friends, reconnect with family, or grab a coffee with someone from your team or a friend that you haven't seen in a while. Just like sending that first message, starting therapy can feel hard, but taking that step is almost always worth it. You might even find yourself wondering, why didn't I do this sooner? With over 30,000 licensed therapists and more than 5 million people served, BetterHelp is one of the world's largest online therapy platforms. They help you match with a therapist based on your needs so you can focus on your goals, not the search. If the fit's not right, you can switch anytime. This month, don't wait to reach out. Whether you're checking in on a friend or reaching out to a therapist yourself, BetterHelp makes it easy to take that first step. My listeners get 10% off their first month at betterhelp.com/PatMayo. That's BetterHelp.com/PatMayo. Reach out, connect, and remember, you're not alone. How do you judge those sorts of things? I know we talk about this in the FedEx Cup playoffs. I never look into this stuff of, oh, this guy needs to play well this week. It's like, well, he kind of needed to play well every week or else he wouldn't be in this position. I don't see why this week would be any different.
Well, you got to pull out the guys that have won, and like an Eckroat, he's outside the top 100, but he won twice last year, so he's got a couple of years or whatever. But I think for some of these guys, it's really a concern, and I think they're thinking about it. I think there's a lot of pressure, and I think of all that pressure, if it's gonna mount anywhere, it's gonna be with the putter. And it's no different when you're looking at the LPGA because you're coming down to the end of the year and they're all fighting. The people that we're talking about, the people that are playing right now, and the people that we're concerned with and that we want to bet in that like 40 to 100 range are all the same type of people that are between like 90 and 120 on the FedEx Cup point list. These guys need to play well. And if you're in the 90s, then you're not guaranteed a spot. So I think you get a lot of like strokes gained effort, grit out of those guys. And I think the better putters tend to gravitate. And I'm throwing in the approach players too, but I think that there's more pressure on putting over the next 3 weeks on the PGA Tour than there is any other strokes gained skill. And that to me is mutually exclusive of the golf course. I just think mentally to get inside that top 100 is a big push right now.
So trying to construct my card here, there's actually a couple of other guys between 50 and 100 that I like. Victor Perez popped up for me when I was just looking at short-term form plus PGA National form, where he's been shockingly good. He's won in Europe. Like he feels like he's like Vince Whaley is 60 to 1, Victor Perez is 65 to 1. I'm not saying that Whaley's going to lose to Victor Perez, but Victor Perez is a much better player.
Yes, 100%. If I had to choose between the two, even a head-to-head, for 72 holes, I'm going Victor Perez 10 times out of 10.
Like, do you like him in that range, or is it like Hubbard, McGreevy? Okay, Stephen Fisk has already won during the swing season. Fisk and Kevin Roy in a putting contest is probably not where I want to go. Like Clanton is 90 to 1. If we played this tournament last year, he would have been in the Thorbjornsen spot at 19 to 1.
So in that, it's interesting in that range. So I bet Hubbard in Utah. Big disappointment. Thought it would have been a good fit. It should be a good fit here. Bo Hostler, another great perennial fall player. Man, but this like every single guy really lacks the flat stick. William Mao. Oh man, yeah, he can strike it great. Ricky Castillo, right? Can strike it great. Fishburne, another one. Man,
Gim.
like that. Yeah, well, I mean, the Gim Reaper on the greens is ridiculous, like, um, and I don't think it's a good. I mean, we're wrong more than we're right, but Doug Gim excels at a place, even if it's a regular tour event like a Cognizant or like a John Deere, where like accuracy is at least somewhat rewarded, right? Like those are the places he tends to pop more. And if you look at these last couple top tens, you just have the guys that are really good wedge players and really good putters, and they can be a little bit shaky off the tee. And I think that's more where we need to go. I have a tough time in this section. I really do. I like some of the guys that we talked about earlier in that like 30 to 50 section. And then I like a couple guys right around 100. And in this section here, like whatever happened to Luke Clanton, right? He's learning what it's like to be out on tour. So Michael Brennan or Matt McCarty's learning what it's like to be out on tour. Nick Dunlop's learning what it's like to be out on tour. Like it's hard out there every week to continue. Like, yeah, he popped when he was in college, zero expectations. All of a sudden, he's laid with all of this. And, this golf course, you're right, a year ago, great fit for him. Instant top 10, tons of birdies, scoring potential. We love it. Right now, he's down there with Steven Fisk, and really nobody even mentions him anymore.
And the only other guy from this range I did want to bring up, great wedge player, great putter on slow greens. He's going to bomb it out there, and who cares about his accuracy? Patrick Rogers, who I assumed, because he's Patrick Rogers, would be like 35 to 1 because everyone would be lining up to bet on him. He's 90 to 1 this week. Like, this is a good course fit for him.
It's a great course fit for him. No doubt about it. West Coast too. I even like that for him.
And he's learning how to play on the PGA Tour. I mean, he's the greatest prospect in the history of golf. Eventually, it'll click for him, right?
I mean, I got to be fair. I don't want to sound fickle on anything. You're asking me questions. I don't believe in Patrick Rogers this week, and I had a tough time with that last little kind of bracket there when you're talking about Gim down to Patrick Rogers. Like even Sam Ryder in there, Lee Hodges, all those guys, Ricky Castillo. Luke Clanton. I just don't see it this week for those guys. We haven't seen it recently with those guys, and I don't know. Patrick Rogers should have won on this golf course. I feel like he should be the favorite every year, the way he drives it, and with as much potential as we've talked about him over the decades. It's like at some point he's just going to be like a guy that probably never wins, or he wins like Sea Island, like Charles Howell did after 600 starts or something like that, and then that's it. I don't know.
I think for me, and this is something that we're going to do here in a second, that I want to go through each of the ranges to think about how to construct a card, which is not something Jeff and I usually do. I've abstained from making all bets except for on Brandt Snedeker so far, but I can fit Rogers onto this card if I don't do Grazerman Higo. Like if I do one of those guys, or if I just say no to those guys and go to the next level, then I have room to add him. He's not like my favorite guy from this range, but he's someone who I do think has a bit of potential. Of like the bombs, I identified Snedeker as someone that I really like here. David Skins is just playing terrible golf, but he's 175. I think I'd actually rather go with Lipsky at 175 to 1. You play him with like each way places, so play him 160 to 1 with a top 8 finish. I don't think that's crazy. Taylor Montgomery is another guy who, if we're just thinking, can he light it up? Can he hit wedges? He can do 2 of those things. The other things he does so poorly that it's very infuriating. But with so little danger at this course, would you be willing to take a chance on a guy like that? Or, like, what happened to Joe Highsmith? Joe Highsmith is 300 to 1. He just won at PGA National.
I mean, Highsmith for sure was a name that I was thinking as I was kind of scrolling when you were talking. Montgomery would be the other one. I mean, Montgomery is the guy that makes a lot of bogeys on tougher golf courses, but you put him on a golf course like this, with the putter, I mean, he's just so good. But the iron game, like his wedge game isn't as good as like Eric Cole.
No.
His wedge isn't as good. And again, I get it. His odds are further down the board, but like of all those guys down there, though, I know that the putter's a given with Montgomery, so my eye is definitely more pulled towards him. So I do like the pull on Highsmith. That was somebody that I was thinking of.
He has been so bad. I did not realize how bad he has been. He had a T8 at the PGA Championship. I remember that run. And he was T20 at the Players, T22 at the Valspar. He won the Cognizant. So great Florida run for Joe Highsmith. And he's essentially been cut in every other tournament since.
It's funny. I went after, in the placement market, I went after Nick Dunlop because he's had some signs of like life, right?
It'll be hard to drive an OB at this course.
Well, You say that, right? But I don't know. It would be fun to put a GoPro on him and just figure it out because, he started out really hot. The guy could score. We know this, right? He just can't put the driver in play. This would be the one place, and he's going to be a super bomb down there. But of those guys down there, I mean, you're looking at like, oh yeah, Will Gordon or like Nick Dunlop. Well, like Nick Dunlop's won twice, and like the guy can make, an S load of birdies. So, um, you know, I'm taking him over Kevin Streelman or Aaron Wise. That's for sure. I down in that range. It just, I don't know. I mean, Utah, like I said, I messed with him in the placement market. And the first day, the guy had a great round. I think he was 5 or 6 under. And the next day he was like 7 over. It was like, whew, man, that went quick. I didn't even get like a cut out of it. So he's deep down there though. He's in that like 350, 400 range. If you want a super bomb, I mean, that's a guy right there that has shown signs of life recently. And on a golf course where he could keep it on the planet, you never know.
Maybe he wouldn't be. I was just thinking about first round leader for this event. So like David Skins is someone I like to bet as first round leader, and you're going to get huge odds on him. Joe Highsmith, just to see if he has it in him. Like I don't trust him over 4 rounds because the guy can't make a cut, but maybe lightning in a bottle, 1 round at a like familiar confine where he could do well. The other one, I always like John Pack in that market, but I'm probably not going to go there. There was someone else that I just wrote down.
The Jersey kid.
Camilo Villegas would be the other one. Like he showed out, was it here? He won Bermuda, but I think it was here. Like he had his nice run against EVR, wasn't it? Like wedges and putting. It's the only thing he can do, and he does it well still.
He and Kuchar finished second that year to EVR, and Camilo had a chance definitely on Sunday. EVR, shoots 0 that day, 62 or something, and comes back and he wins by 2, but Camilo was right there. I'm even thinking as you're making me look down here, right? Like sometimes when guys can just bomb it and then it becomes like a wedge putter fest or whatever. Like if you're talking about a guy that just needs to do it for one day, like Trey Mullinex is a guy, and he's done it in the fall before. He's always been great at the Sanderson where, you got to put the ball in play and then you just attack with a wedge in your hand. But I mean, in that range down there, I mean, Sned's almost like inspires me more than most of these names. Andrew Putnam, he's going to be great with his irons. He's going to be better, above average with his putter. Hell, you can see Adam Shanks down here, and he was good at Utah, right?
Whatever happened to Adam Shank? Like this is the guy I was legitimately betting on to win tournaments at 75 to 1 2 years ago. Now he's 1,000 to 1.
Yeah, man, golf's a hard game, Pat. I'm just telling you. Some of these guys, like we were talking about Luke Clanton. The path was there for him. Just go do it. Just go keep top 10ing. It's easy, right? It's very, very difficult, and these guys, and I still think it matters with 3 weeks to go. I think it really matters. These guys, they've got to get in the top 100. And when you cut that number short by 25, everyone complains about, all the Monday qualifying and all this stuff, but you're making the product better. Those top 100 guys are better than the top 125 from head to toe. And that in and of itself makes this a lot more interesting if it's up to me. Like I want the tournaments and the product to be better. And I think that Roll App is going to do all of those things. And like the term scarcity comes into play. Well, if you're letting 150 guys in, and truth be told, the last 40 of those guys don't play an event till like the Cognizant or the Mexico Open in February, like they don't even get in any events. Like what's the point of having them on that tour? I love the cut down to 100. I think it makes the top 100 way, way better. And I think that those guys are a lot more fun to watch for the average fan. So for me, I think a lot of this is which one of these guys down here do you see could make a push to be like a really good top 100 style player.
Damon needs it.
Well, I mean, Damon, he made it on the number last year at 125, and he had a whole year to be better. Does he have the skill set to do it? Does he have the putter to do it?
Hadwin's down here too, who's just had an abysmal season.
Yeah, he's had a tough season. I think his wife's higher on the FedEx Cup points than he is.
Hey, he got to go to Game 7 of the World Series. I saw him. I saw the pictures of him there. So he's doing fine. And he got to play in every signature event this year, too.
Well, I mean, Adam's been good for a very long time. We know that. He's a former tour winner. That's going to carry for a little while. But, a lot of these Michael Brennans are going to push those Adam Hadwins out. Those Patrick Rogers out if they don't perform. And I don't know. I think it's great the direction that it's going. I think that's probably maybe controversial for some people to kind of lean into, but it makes these guys better. The level of play that's going to qualify through Sea Island is going to be a much better tour player. It's going to be a lot more fun to watch. And let's be honest, in 2 years, there's going to be two tours. There's going to be an elite tour, and then there's going to be, everyone talks about the PGA tour. They'll just be the PGA tour, right? And then all of these events will be like this, but
I like these. In fairness, I like these tournaments. They're like super fun Corn Ferry events.
Absolutely. I mean, they have a cut. They have 120 plus players. They have a lot of volatility. They're fun to play in DFS games. They're fun to bet. They're fun to play in the placement markets. Every aspect of it, head-to-heads on a daily basis. This is the best part. The worst thing in the world is to guarantee, like, better than average players. The middle tier guys, 4 rounds, right? Like, I love these events. I think that they're great.
In real time, Nico Echeverria has dropped from 45 to 1 to 27 to 1 as we've been doing the show. Great.
Well,
missed that one.
The Mayo movement is real.
I didn't even get to bet on it.
You only mentioned it, and it went down that far.
Let's see, Bridgman at 40 seems to be the best number. All right, so let's do this. Let's section off 30 to 1 and below. Now Nico is a part of that. Grazerman, Higo, Olesen, Nico. Would you want to bet 1 or 2 of those guys?
I'd really want to bet 2.
Okay, and you'd probably want Higo and who?
Grazerman.
All right, I'm going to bet Grazerman at 22 to 1. That's going to be one of my bets. I'm going to lock that one in. I mean, even try to, and I'll have a boost up on Cool Bet too. So probably get him to 25 to 1 on Cool Bet. If you're in Canada outside of Ontario, just hit the description and figure that out. 30 to 1 to, let's say, 50 to 1. Bridgman's in here at 40. Nick Taylor, I can get at 35. You like, we have those two. Is there anyone else you want to add? Like, do you like Svensson or Cootie or Griot? I know you like Kuchar, but he's just outside that range.
Bridgman for me.
I'm going to go with Bridgman as well. So we'll go Bridgman at 40. I'm going to star Nick Taylor at 35 to 1, just because I think that these are events that he wins. And when you have a prolific winner in the field like this versus a bunch of guys who don't win, sometimes that's just good enough.
I mean, that's why I'm going down the Kuchar route.
So you're taking Kuchar. I'm not going to be out on Kuchar. So of that 50 to 100 range, you like Kuch. I like Jagger at 80. That's going to be a play for me. I might even do that with placement. So I'll probably end up getting like 66 with 8 placements, but we'll put him down at 80 right now. Is that what you can get? And I kind of talked myself into Patrick Rogers as we were going along. So I'll lose money on Patrick Rogers at 90 to 1 as well. Who are the other guys in that range? Like I have Vic Perez was really the only other one that stood out to me as probably a good bet.
You know what? I'll lose money with you. I'm going to take Eric Cole.
He's 100 to 1 and beyond. We're not even at the 100 to 1 spot yet.
Oh, he's sitting at 90 on my board in front of me.
See, you're in Jersey. Just you can go to Bet 365. He's at 100 to 1.
All right, fair enough.
So Cole 100 to 1. I will do that with you. I got Snedeker at 140 to 1 with the 8 places. That feels like good enough for me, I think.
Oh yeah. Anyone below that, I'll try to get them to pop in the placement market.
I'm not big on the placement markets, honestly. Like for example, I just won a bunch of money in week 9 on Underdog using we had 4 for 4. We have the Sharp Stack tool, which gives you the best EV odds of all of the props. And I listen, Keith, I'm trying to win big when I win. And I'm trying to win huge odds here. I don't want to sit here and bet 10 individual props. I want to put 8 of them together to see if they win. And I won 8 for 8. It was fantastic. Shout out Sharp Stack. I won $7,000 yesterday. It was great.
Oh my God. Fantastic. Yeah.
I'll shoot you the login, but for everyone else who's not Keith and gets the bonus of being on this show and get some of the free stuff, 4for4.com/Mayo, code Mayo50. It's a free 7-week trial too. You don't have to sign up for anything. The free 7 days that you get for it just to try it out. But if you use code Mayo50, it's 50% off after that on the monthly plan. And that gets you all DFS, it gets you all sports, it gets you everything. To go into football, basketball, baseball, hockey, all of the betting odds for that and all of the tools for the NFL. First round leader, Camillo.
Hang on real quick. What was the last prop that had to clear in order to win it?
Ja'Cory Krosky Merritt under rushing yards in Sunday Night Football. And he had, I believe it was 11 rushing yards at the half. And I was tired from I did 5 hours of recording yesterday, watched football all day, and the game was just completely out of hand to begin with.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't want to have to stay up to watch the second half of this game. I'll watch it in the morning. But I don't want to have to sit here and sweat out a 42.5 rushing under on a guy who shouldn't be rushing the ball down 30 points in this game anyway. And I woke up this morning, he had 38 rushing yards. I was like, oh, thank God.
I love it. It's
Like,
like when I wake up on Sunday mornings right now and the LPGA, I lose every week by 1 stroke. Just
Well, let's hit that. So those are going to be my bets. Grazerman, and I'll add these in the newsletter too. The newsletter will come out, betspertsgolf.com. I'll have my write-up. Golf Digest, you and I will have our stuff in there. But for sure, I'll go with Grazerman at 22. Grazerman 22, Bridgman at 40, Jaeger at 80, Rogers at 90, Cole at 100, and Snedeker at 140. And Nick Taylor at 35 to 1. I'm going to wait on him because I don't think anyone's going to bet on him. I'll probably get him at 35 or 40, whatever it might be, later on in the week. And I'll give a special look to Victor Perez. If I'm only going to go with one of those guys at the top, I got room for these guys. First round leader, Camillo, Dunlap, Snedeker, and Lipsky. I'll cross off skins. I'll go with those 4 to see if they can put it together. But you are betting LPGA. There's like the first round of the DP World Tour playoffs going on as well with all the big names. Fleetwood favored over Rory in a tournament. Never thought I'd see the day.
Yeah, the board I saw this morning had them both 5 to 1, but it wouldn't surprise me. I mean, Fleetwood, guys, unbelievable right now. I mean, at the Ryder Cup, it was a stripe show. It was absolutely like unbelievable. And thankfully he played a lot with Rory, and Rory took a lot of the emotion out of the crowd and took a lot of the vitriol, right? So some of those other guys got to play to their best ability, but Fleetwood was impressive, man. I mean, the guy's sharp right now. It's great.
Who are we going with on the LPGA, though? That's like your bread and butter.
So this week, the odds have just popped for the Toto Japan Classic. I mean, I'm on a bad beat run right now. I had Minami Katsu, who lost to Gino like 3 weeks ago. She had a 4-shot lead with 5 to go, and then she lost in a 5-hole playoff. Unbelievable. She's 50 to 1. Imagine. I looked like Jeff at the Toronto game the other night when that thing was over. It was 3:30 in the morning, 5-hole playoff, and I lost. And then the next week, I backed it up at the BMW. I picked 4 outrights. All 4 finished in the top 10, and nobody won.
Well, who are we leaning this week then? Give me a. I don't need a winner, Keith. I just need a sweat on the Give me a reason to pay attention to the LPGA Tour.
I haven't seen the numbers yet this morning.
Oh,
Yeah, I haven't seen the.
Okay, well, who do you like? I'm looking at them right now. And then I can tell you the odds. You can tell me if those are good odds or bad odds.
Who's the favorite? Is it Yamashita?
Yeah, it's Minji Lee at 6.5 to 1, then Yamashita at 8 to 1, then someone named Aki Iwa at 10 to 1.
Oh, Aki Iwa. So the Japanese, so we're in Japan. We only go there one time a year. The Japanese players have taken over the LPGA. They've won 8 times this year on tour, including 2 majors. And they won last week. Yamashita won in a 3-way playoff, of which I was 1 stroke out of with Aylin Kim. This golf course, Seta Golf Course, Ball Strikers Golf Course. Annika's won there 4 times. Like, you really have to keep the ball in play, and you also have to be able to score. When they go to Asia, they all shoot 20 under par every single time. Ryo Takeda, Japanese player, won it last year. Super ball striker, average putter. That's the model that I'm looking for. Hang on for a second here. Let me find out.
She's 14 to 1.
Yeah, we got to find somebody that's pushing 20 at least. I need to give you a name.
Yeah, all these names, I mean, I'm not going to lie to you. They all look very similar. So I have to make sure I click on the right. It's like Cam's addiction to betting on Danish golfers, and he always forgets which one he's going to bet. The LPGA Tour seems like it's a big victim of that, where you're like, who am I betting here?
It can be at times. I mean, there's many times I put out and like read the line, like, we're going to bet Aki Iwa, and it like somebody clicks on Chisato, her twin sister. And there's no pictures next to it. It's just, they just look at the last name. Oh, let's see here.
Oh, this is a name. Patty Tavanatanakit.
Oh, Tavatanikit. Yeah, for sure. I tell you what, look at this board. Holy moly. So Minji Lee is obviously Minwoo's brother, right? So she's
Sister.
Australia.
She's
the next
Minwoo's
1,
sister.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. The next like 8 of the next 10 players are all Japanese. Now, I know this event, it's 78 players, 72 holes, no cut over there, and like 40 players, 45 players are LPGA, and there's like 33 from the JLPGA, which has been really strong. Let's run with. Oh, okay, 30-1, Shuri Sakuma. All right.
Shuri Sakuma. Oh, where'd you get that number? I only see an 18-1. That's a 30-1's a great number.
That's Caesars.
Oh. Okay.
Shuri Sakuma. She leads the JLPGA.
Okay.
She's won like 4 times this year. She has like 15 top 10s in like, 16 events or something like that. It's like Michael Brennan on the PGA Tour Americas.
All right. Shuri Sakuma, the official play from Keith Stewart on the Pat Mayo Experience.
There you go. There'll be more at Read the Line for sure. We'll have full coverage. There'll be 2,000 words on the Toto Japan Classic.
Well, let's see if I can get better. What's the name again? Shakua. There we go. 25-1. That I can do. Oh, apparently I have it parlayed with Jacob Bridgman. Let's play that. $10 pays 10,000. Yeah, there we go. Bet accepted. So there's the official play right there. It's going to be S. Shakuma and Jacob Bridgman parlay. Pays 1,000-1. I'll just bet it at 20. I'll bet it at 25-1 too.
These things happen, Pat. I'm telling you. 2 years ago, when Johnny Vegas won 3M, we had Vegas at 80-1, and then I had Lauren Coughlin winning Canada at 40-1, and I had a Read the Line member send me a DM, and he said, "Hey, I put $10 and parlayed them together." I mean, we won 120-1 just off 2 outrights. This guy parlayed them together and won hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Well, I'm going to try to win a 10 of $1,000 and see if that ends up working out for me. That'd be a great hit for the first time we're doing this. You and I are going to do this for each of the final 3 swing season events. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Thanks for doing the show, man.
Awesome. I mean, I love it. You always ask great questions, make me think, which is tons of fun. So
KJ Stewart, PGA on Twitter, readtheline.com if you're looking for more from Keith. That's the golf coverage for me, video and audio-wise for the week. Sub to the channel. Leave me your winner down in the comment section. We got more football, obviously, coming, but I'll have a write-up with my picks in more detail. And if there's something else that I uncover, then hell, let's go in on that. That'll be available in the free Mayo Media newsletter. Additionally, it'll be up on betspertsgolf.com as well. All right, I'm Pat Mayo. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.
Pat Mayo Experience! Experience!